Okay, so yeah, good people at DDA sent me across Apple TV's new Peanuts piece. Snoopy Presents a Summer Musical. Ah, man, I love Peanuts, right? I mean, this is it's always just fun and just nice, right? It is directed by Erik Wiese, written by Bryan Schulz, Craig Schulz, and Cornelius Uliano. The film is produced by, it's executive produced by Cornelius Uliano, Craig Schulz, Bryan Schulz, Josh Sharaba, Stephanie Betts, with Angela Balia on line production. We have got music from Ben Folds, Jeff Morrow, Michael Weiner, and Alan Zachary. Storyboard artist is Daniela Fischer. We've got Teresa Mansell and Eric Matushi on animation. I imagine there was other people as well, but they're the only ones. I mean, the IMDb is terrible, right? There's just not a whole heap of information, which is kind of crazy, considering, right? It's just like, man, list all the people. Why? What are we doing? Cast-wise, luckily I was able to find that, right? Snoopy is voiced by Terry McGurrin. Woodstock is Rob Tinkler. Charlie Brown is Etienne Kellici, right? But for the singing, Zaid Doresh does Charlie Brown. So yeah, which was interesting, right? Charlie's sister Sally is voiced by Hattie Kragten. Marcy is Arianna McDonald. Peppermint Patty is Lexi Perri. Isabella Leo is Lucy. Linus is Wyatt White. Franklin is Caleb Bellavance. Edora is Zoe Wheatley. So yeah, they're all the names that we have. Now, so like I didn't realize this, but supposedly this is the first Peanuts musical in 75 years, which, I mean, that seems crazy, right? Like, what? Oh, hold on. No, I got that wrong. It's the first musical in 35 years. Yeah. I mean, and that's crazy in itself, right? But it is the 75th anniversary of Peanuts itself. Yeah, 75th anniversary review. You're like, yo, what? No. It's a 75th anniversary. That's huge, man. That feels crazy, right? But 35th with the musical. Though, to be honest, yeah, musicals and Charlie Brown weren't necessarily the thing that jumped out to me. I just remember Charlie Brown as being this just wholesome cartoon, that had these little messages in and stories that just were just nice, right? It was just nice. It was fun, basic animation, but worked perfectly for what this was. you know, and it just seemed to capture childhood, right? Hey, when you look at it, you're just like, how? But it just captures that whole thing. You know, Sally pulling the ball away, just all of these things. Pigpen, you know, Schroeder, it just seemed to do it. You know what I mean? And that was always the great thing about Charlie Brown and Snoopy and the gang. So here is the gist of this. Charlie Brown loves camp and is determined to make his final year special, but Sally, a first-time camper, is nervous and skeptical of the new and unfamiliar place. While everyone settles into camp, Snoopy Woodstock discover a treasure map that takes them on a wild adventure nearby. So yes, that is everything, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. I didn't even mind the music. I think we had songs which there was Best Time Ever, right? This was written by Morrow, Zachary and Wiener. Ben Folds wrote Free, Leave It Better, Look Up Charlie Brown, and When We Were Light. And then Morrow, Zachary and Wiener also did A Place Like This. I think my favourite was probably Best Time Ever, right? The first song. And as I said, like, they're going to camp. It's the last year for Charlie, Snoopy, Paddy and the gang. But Sally's first, which does seem kind of crazy when you think of how old Peanuts is. Like, this is the first time Sally's gone to camp. I mean, they never seem to age, right? And it is funny, because in this, we do have, like, with Charlie, you know, he seems weird saying just Charlie, right? When Charlie Brown is thinking back to his time at camp, like, they show a younger Charlie Brown, Snoopy and the gang. I mean, they do look the same. They're just shorter. They're just kind of short. Because how do you make a kid with no hair look younger? I mean, if you know, the characters were really intricate and, you know, all detail and everything, you couldn't easily do it. But when it's such a basic design, you know, yeah, they were just essentially shorter. That was it. And they had him in a red t-shirt rather than a yellow t-shirt, which you don't really see him out of the yellow much. So that was like, huh. But yeah, that's it. But he's thinking back of all his time at camp, you know, and yes, Sally hasn't been for whatever crazy reason after all these years. That's what we're going with. But that's fine, right? Doesn't really matter, because we still get a fun little story. And it's just them, you know, traveling. And at the very beginning, he notices that there's only 3 coaches. You know, he's like, oh, they're usually 6. But are they usually 6? Right? Because, again, there's a point where he notices that every year there's been less and less kids. You know, so it's their last year, but it's Sally's first. And when they discover that it's going to shut, it is sad for, you know, the fact that the place where they had so many fun summers and so many memories together is going. But what's also nice is the fact that he's sad because he thinks his little sister won't be able to have those, you know, similar experiences and memories, you know, be able to forge her own kind of, you know, view of what this is. That's one of the big reasons he's sad, which is nice, right? It's one of those cool little peanut, messages that it's about the people around you, you know what I mean? Supporting your friends and, you know, all of that kind of thing. So, you know, that's nice. And then it's just them finding a way to keep this going, which is always funny because it never involves the adults, right? You know what I mean? Because when you think, like, if the adults have made a decision, what, so a bunch of kids are gonna like do something and then it's fixed. You know what I mean? What the adults are gonna know, and they, you know to come back next year, right? They're just like, okay, we'll speak to the contractors, and yeah, everything's great. I mean, there is no logic in these things, but there doesn't have to be, because this is like just, you know, fun childhood magic. So yeah, it's you know, we get this, you know, quaint little story of Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang bringing it all together. Snoopy going on his side quest with Woodstock, which is, you know, Snoopy at Woodstock, right? It goes together like cheese and onion. I was thinking, what else? What other things go together? I don't know. Fuck. Yeah, cheese and onion, that goes together. I enjoy a cheese and onion toasted sandwich. That's always flavour. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, you have to use the right cheese. You know, you can't go overboard with the onions. It's about balance and the right type of bread. But anyway, you don't care about that. But yeah, no, we have what was it, like 6 songs, and they all work. Yeah, no, 5 songs, and yeah, they're nice little songs, right? Sometimes with these things, like the music is just like, oh, that's terrible. You know, like there was Wish, and that Disney Pixar film, I didn't enjoy the music. I think there's one song that was okay, and the rest were just like, boy. So yeah, musicals can be hit and miss, but this one, you know, it does what it's meant to do. It's only 40 minutes, which is perfect. It's perfect, right? It doesn't overstay its welcome. And you just think, with, you know, things like this, because they adapt, you know, like kids' cartoons and stuff for the big screen. You know, we see it all the time, you know, like Sonic the Hedgehog, Paddington, just all of these things. But it always has to be a, you know, 2-hour kind of affair. And a lot of times it's just not going to work. But if you made it 40 minutes, that's kind of fire, right? Did you think cinemas will get to show even more? So they're going to be making a lot of money because they can fit in more screenings throughout the day. You know, so having it short isn't a bad thing. The good thing is it allows you to, you know what I mean, give a great story. You don't have to try and flesh it out and stretch a plot point or, you know, any of that business, right? It can be short, it can be succinct, and it can just work well. And that's what this does. It's just a nice little story that works on all the levels. It is kind of slightly odd in the fact that Charlie Brown and Sally's voices are different. Now, it's been a minute since I've checked out Charlie Brown, so I'm not saying that it should be the same voices from back in the day. You know, obviously they're gonna change, but you do. I think when it starts, and I'm like, that's different, isn't it? Right? And you just notice a slight difference. It's not like it's crazy. It's not like, hey, Snoopy, how are you? Right? It's nothing like that. But you just notice a slight difference in Charlie Brown and Sally. And Lucy even. But you know, that's it. Everything else, the animation is still that classic Peanuts animation. Did seem a little bit brighter than other stuff, you know, but yeah, I think a young kid will enjoy this. You know, I think anyone that does enjoy Peanuts, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, all of that jazz, they're gonna enjoy this because it's just sweet, it's fun, you know. Pigpen and the smell outside was an odd one, right? But you're just like, I mean, should he smell? Should there be all of that around him? Like, it's outside, but you know, it's Pigpen. But yeah, no, I enjoyed Snoopy Presents a Summer Musical. It will be hitting Apple TV on Friday the 18th. So yeah, if you're a Peanuts fan, I think you're going to enjoy this. So yeah, let me know. Did you think this was classic Peanuts? Did it work for you? You know what I mean? Did it keep your kids happy? What's the deal? Let me know. But yeah, Snoopy Presents a Summer Musical.